Yeah, it's not a Zoom meeting. You can mute.
All right, folks, this is just like church. If you got an empty seat table, you're going to need to squeeze in. We got more folks that want to have a seat. Got one more coming.
And don't sit down because we're going to get up for the pledge. All right, for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order. First order of business is Resolution 2670 to accept the minutes for the meeting of May 6, 2026.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? To go. Thank you. Public comment to allow members of the public to comment or reserve time to speak on an upcoming agenda item. One of the agenda items that I think you're all here for is our workshop on the community benefit matching grant applications. So I know you've all reserved your time. And I will just ask that as we go through each one of these, if you are representing any of these that we're going to go through, you can come up. I don't know if there's a microphone for you to speak to.
Well, I think you can probably hear them fine just from
Hopefully.
they stand up.
Yeah. That microphone should be on.
That is on.
Very good. Yeah, all right. Very good. Okay. So I was just going to ask, is there anybody here from the public who is not here for the community benefit matching grant applications, but does wish to address us? Okay. Nobody on Zoom? Don't see any hands raised? All right. So we're good to go with our workshop, the preliminary review of the spring 2026 community benefit matching grant applications.
So before you jump right in, I just wanted to leave on the handouts that are in your packet and the folks have here. There's just a brief summary of the dollars, what's already been committed to other grants and other funds, and what's available. And I will say this is the second time, this would be the sixth round of these grants. And so this is the second time we've had 19 applications, but this is the largest ask as far as total dollars go. But the other benefit of this is you as commissioners, and I get to learn all the things that are going on in the various parts of the county. So, and I just didn't know any comments from the commissioners before we start reviewing?
But the only thing, I'm sure everyone knows this, but I kind of repeat myself. We're not going to decide on any of these applications today.
Right.
We're just discussing
Right.
and sharing our views.
Right.
So if anybody that's think we're going to get voted up or down today, that's not happening. So, yeah.
And I just wanted to say that Commissioner Stetkis was unable to make it, and he does have an excused absence, so, but he is aware of these applications.
Mm-hmm. So again, the opportunity today is really for the commissioners to review, ask questions. If there are folks in the room that can answer those questions, by all means, you can certainly speak to the grant when it comes up. And as I mentioned, these are listed in no particular order other than the order in which they were received in my office. So with that, 2601 is the Canaan Fire Department. They are seeking funds for upgrading, replacing their air tanks, SCBAs. This is a repeat application. The commission funded them $15,000 back in the spring of 2025. By the rules, you can apply after a 12-month period of receiving an award. And it appears to be a very straightforward strategy. They're seeking to use funding from the county to help offset the cost of replacing air tanks. And I don't, is Chief Worcester here?
Yes.
So, did you have the board have any questions or thoughts on this application?
What is an air tank?
I just would like to hear from you. If someone's here to speak on them, we'll hear.
So what we like to replace is our SCBA units, which is a self-contained breathing apparatus, the air that we use when we fight fire. We are upgrading from the old style 2.2, the larger tanks, to the 4.5 smaller tanks, which is more air, more time, less weight size. As the older style are going to be obsolete. The three air packs we would like to replace this year were bought, one in 2001, one in 2002, and one in 2000. They're aged. And these units, the package that we had our vendor put together would consist of SCBA unit, 2 air cylinders, the mask that you wear on your face, and the phenomenal bracket that we need to upgrade in the apparatus.
So is it fair to say that that's a $30,000 bill to do all that?
So our vendor was a little bit slow on getting the quote back to me. That was the quote we had last year. So I'm going to give a rough estimate that it's probably around $32,000 this year.
Okay. And how many SCBAs in your fleet do you have that are going to need replacement?
So we have 12. We replaced 3 last year. That leaves us 9. So we're just going to take away them. And by doing this a few at a time, they're not all up at the same time, because the air cylinders are only good for 15 years. And then they're a fiberglass cylinder.
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead.
What would you rely on for funding for this if you did not exist?
So if we don't get this grant, I had put in an article for town to vote on in March to raise half of this. So I put in an article for $15,000, and then in hopes to get this $15,000. If we don't get this grant, it's either search for another grant or wait and see if the town will vote for another $15,000 next March.
Did you get the 15?
We did get the
The tanks that are being replaced are assuming some that has a kind of service, you could say.
correct.
Right. So, and then the purchase of these 3 that are different are also safe. And they inspect.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So they all need to be hydro tested to be sure they're fine every 5 years. But at 15 years, that's life expectancy of these particular cells. Here's the cells.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right, the 2602, the Mercer Historical Society. They've been working on repairs to their history house over the last couple of years. This is the 3rd application since 2024. The county awarded $10,000 for a heat pump in 24. In the spring of 25, they received $3,000 for repair and repainting of exterior walls. I was corrected from interior to exterior walls. That project is being wrapped up now, and this grant is seeking $10,000 in funds to repair or replace windows and a staircase and to remove a chimney. And I believe Jeff is here from the Mercer History House to speak to this.
Sure. So again, any questions, or I can just give you a brief summary, or if you want to ask questions, do that as well.
Brief summary
Okay.
for me.
And then the questions.
Okay. So I'm Jeff Dave. I'm here on behalf of the Mercer Historical Society, and those folks on the board. We issued the grant working with Tim and so forth in the last year. We did put the heat pumps in. It's an 1800s building. They're slowly developing it and bring it back up to structural integrity. Needs a lot of work. A lot of fundraisers have happened, but the money comes in very slow. It's either through personal donations or the town grant some money as well, along with fortunate funds from you folks. So those heat pumps went in, subsequent money went, they did 3 windows, they have 6 other windows that are in terrible shape, gaps and everything, losing heat, so they're working towards trying to fundraise to repair those. And Tim mentioned the money that you awarded us last year, we're due to have completed prior to the June 30th deadline, which will re-prep and paint the exterior largest 2 walls of the building, bringing those back to the structural integrity. Now we're looking for additional money from us because the only way you can get to the second floor of the building is on the exterior of the building. It's really poor condition. It offers a great amount of history up there as well, where they used to hold town meetings and other events up there in the town originated. So we want to offer that to the folks, and they can take advantage of that as well. So along with the town money and hopefully funds from you guys and fundraising, we'll continue to keep working that. We did get some money from the town. They're working that. We have the roof, when Tim mentioned that we no longer use, because of the heat pumps, we no longer use the boiler. So the chimney exists, the boiler's now gone. It leaks around the roof. We want to remove that piece, have it patched and repaired. So you got the staircase on the exterior side and closing it in properly so folks can get up there safely. You got the chimney, you got the windows. We know we're not going to get it all. We don't have a lot of money to work with. It's about $6,000 their account. We only have some allocated for this year because of wage folks awarded us last year. So I'll absorb some of that. We'll try to get as much done as we can with the funds that we get. It's a whole repair and that whole stuff.
Questions?
So do you, this is a matching situation, so do you have $10,000 in the bank somewhere?
We have $10,000 actually coming from our surplus this year from the town of Mercer. They awarded us some money and we us some money. So fortunately, it's some surplus, so we're really going to go after as much as we can. And utilizing that money as well, along with fundraising. They just did a couple of suppers, they do a paint night, they do a bunch of stuff.
And so maybe it's a better question for Tim or for both of you. So the $3,000 that hasn't been used yet, is that all going to be done before this new grant would go forward?
Right. So that spring of 25 grant has a deadline of June 30th. And so you'll see later on in the agenda, there's some extensions, but as long as they pay out the full amount to do the painting and then submit paid invoices to me, then we can authorize, and you can authorize a check for $3,000 to go back to them. And that all should be done by the end of June.
And just to add that, we won't go after that full $3,000 because we just don't have the funds to cover it. The total bill is $3,800 to those 2 exterior walls. We'll pay $3,800, and of course, then they'll help us with
19.
right.
Okay.
And the
Okay, I just have a sudden bias against. My mother used to say, "Clean your plate before you ask for more." So I just think from almost an accounting, it's just sort of messy for me to have one grant still not used up before, and then we're going to do another one. I think one ought to be complete before we start that. That's my
I
opinion.
can give you a reason being is because they really worked hard to get funds to cover the entire.
Well, I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying, I don't think we should piggyback, for lack of a better term.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get the contractor for this spring. Time sensitive, yeah, it has to be done in June. So that's
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So item number 3 is from the town of Moose River. Is anybody from Moose River? Fantastic. All right. Are you Clarence? All right. I'm Tim. Nice to meet you, Clarence. So just to kind of set the table a little bit and then let Clarence fill in the blanks. Last year, the town of Jackman applied for a $15,000 matching grant for their paramedic program, which is a fairly extensive $300,000 or $400,000 program, and the county awarded that grant. So you're going to see both an application from Moose River and then a similar application from Dennistown asking for the county's help with their portions of those annual contributions to the paramedic and paramedicine program. So with that, I'll let you fill in the blanks.
See how we do. Clarence Deegan, Brand new at this first weapon. Still learning. We'll be for quite some time. But the out of this grant, $18,000. We're paying $18,000 every quarter to keep this paramedic program up in Jackson. A few years back, we lost our doctor, and with that, we did the first enough to have a PA, but we have no X-ray, no monitor, and they're only open Monday through Thursday. Paramedic program came in, and along with the help of the volunteer EMS folks up there, we teamed up, and we have access to the monitors and ID access and whatever we get called out. I'm proud of the EMS, have been with for over 4 years. Progress and good, yeah. But this is a great program. Used quite a bit. I mean, we used it after 20 calls last year, and invaluable, although very expensive to a very limited source, amount of kind of people.
Any questions?
Questions?
So ordinarily with this money, just if we didn't give you this money or award you the money, it would just be raised through taxation?
Correct.
And historically, has it been raised through taxation?
It has.
Started this program.
Sir?
Yeah.
Can you, for review's sake, this is a plantation, yes? UT. So when we put it in, I'm just trying to understand all the money. When we put it in taxation, that's coming from the amount the state allocates us for the whole UT, or is this the bill that they actually?
We have a share of the expenses. Jackman has a share, Moose River has a share, Dennistown Plantation has a small share, and the UT has a share. Ours is between $80,000 and $90,000 a year, I think, the current year. It varies year to year depending on funding sources. Sometimes there's some grant funds that are included. Lately, there hasn't been much extra money. We're all bearing the weight. For the reason Jackman came and applied last year, and Moose River is this year. It's pretty steep, but it is a pretty necessary position we need up there for Medicare, because the federal government is up there for water, but they don't pay anything for this either. Or I shouldn't say either, but they don't pay anything towards this, to my knowledge.
So what's the total ask? Not for our portion, the Somerset County portion. If you add Jackman, all the 15 we gave Jackman, the money that we contribute as a UT,
Yeah.
and then I think there's 2 more, this one and 1 more. So that'd be 45,000 plus the money we give, as a UT, which is you just at 80.
Yeah, around 80 to 90,000.
We'll call it 90. So the county would be bearing 135,000 of that.
Well, it's different sources. It's the UT tax money for the UT purposes. Jackman, it's the people that live in Jackman, so it's their property tax. Same with Moose River, same with Dennistown. Those are all their own property tax. Occasionally there's some extra grant money put in, but that varies year to year. So every year we're kind of paying different. But the program itself is probably upwards of $500,000, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
And in fact, I'm not refuting that.
Yeah, we were involved in this county when it was first put together, and we were very involved in funding, and we were willing to bear because it's a necessary, medical expense. So we were for it, and basically they're just asking to help their taxpayers a little bit with or benefit.
How long has this particular program been in existence?
8 years.
2021.
It started in 2021.
Are we, I mean, I'm just asking, but is this a request we're going to get on an annual basis? Just basically, it's a request to offset property tax. In so many words, it's a tax reduction request, which is a legitimate purpose for community benefit. That's what it is. Am I right?
Yeah.
Unless there's something here.
Sir?
I can help a little bit with that. My name's Rick Petrie. I mentioned you guys before.
Yes.
I'm the town manager for Jackman and the paramedic program director. And we've spent all of the time since 2021 trying to figure out a way to get this paid for, right? The program was put into place at the time out of desperation with COVID and with an inability to provide medical services. So in addition to what Clarence was talking to you about, they also provide after-hours acute care to all the citizens to keep them from having to come an hour and a half down to Scotty, right? And so we have Senator Collins, Jerry Golden, Andrew King, and our state reps putting in bills for programs that are called treat and no transport. Right now, we can't bill for any of this, right? So that's why it's funded by taxes. But we, and I had a meeting with Collins' office yesterday because she's renewing her efforts on a federal level to get a federal treat and no transport so that there could be reimbursement, which would take the place of what we're asking you for now, right, to help undercut that.
You can't reimburse from Blue Cross Blue Shield or anyone else if they have coverage?
They don't, there's no real system in place for what's referred to as treat and no transport. And unfortunately, outside of this, in the EMS system as a whole, no transport calls make up 35% of the call line. These are significant obstacles for every EMS agency in the state of Maine. Up there, it's made worse by a rural area. But we are actively working with all of our federal and state representatives to get payment for treat and no transport through If we get it through Medicaid and Medicare, then everybody else falls into place, right? But until we get it through Medicaid and Medicare, they're like, we're going to pay with Medicaid and Medicare, which is only about 85% of what it costs to go on a call if you transport the patient down to Reddington or over to CAD. So we are actively working so that this doesn't become an annual request from you by trying to get treat and no transport reimbursement. And I remain optimistic with it. Thank you.
And because you're not UTs, we can't use TIP.
That is correct.
But we can use the tip for the night.
For the who?
No, it's budget. It's part of the UT budget. If it's a one-time occurrence, then sometimes we did send a tip. We didn't budget for it. But in this case, we knew when it was starting up, it was going to cost us. So we budgeted for it in the only UT budget.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So moving on to number 2604, theater reservations. Renovations at the Bijou Theater in Pittsfield. I think Dick Davis is here.
Yes.
So I'll let you come up and explain this. If you're familiar with Pittsfield, you know where this facility is, and I guess there's quite a bit of renovation work ongoing.
Okay.
Don't be shy. I'm going to
If I may, Richard Davis, and I'm a resident of Pittsfield. I represent BTEC, which is the Bijou Theater and Richmond Center. And we're a relatively new organization. We're at 501c3. We acquired this historic theater from the town of Pittsfield on November 7th of last year. The town owned it for several years, ran it as a community theater, and closed it in 2020 due to COVID and loss of revenue and the fact that the town really wasn't able to be in the theater business. It didn't make sense. But it did make sense for a dedicated group of individuals who saw the potential there and were working hard to reopen this theater as an arts, education, and entertainment venue. We have several advantages with the theater as a hardwood stage, We can have live events such as comedy, talent shows, lectures, and so forth. And we do have a digital projector, so we can show movies again at some point. But that's our goal. We want to reopen it. The fact that it's been closed down for nearly 6 years, it needs some work. And one of the things it needs is the bathrooms need to be renovated, new fixtures, new doors, and all of that sort of thing, just so that we can have a welcoming space for the community. We see this as a driver of economic development for the community, get people into our downtown to go to these events. Then there'll be some spin-off effect, as there usually is with projects like this. It's an exciting time for Pittsfield right now. We've got a village partnership initiative coming through next year with federal money, DOT money. There will be streetscape improvements, new lighting, sidewalks, wayfinding, signage, and all of that. So I think this fits in well with that. Additionally, there's a building next door that's being renovated for possible use as a restaurant. So with that, I was some brief synopsis, and if you have questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them for you. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to present this and come here today.
Thank you. I've seen many a movie in the theater.
Everybody
It hasn't been there, this town hasn't owned it for years, they've owned it for decades.
They have, yes. It's the town, I think, was the third owners. The building was built in 1915, so it's got some history.
Yeah.
And we hear from people all the time that kids, we went to the movies here, the 25-cent matinee or the $1 Friday night, and a lot of children, young people who grew up working in the theater, selling tickets or being ushers and so forth. There's a lot of good memories there, and we're hoping to bring them back.
Is it structurally sound enough to reopen the balcony?
There isn't really a balcony there. There's up overhead. There's the projection room, of course, and then there's a platform that was added on for lighting. And certainly that could be reused, but our goal is to remove that and have sound and lighting on the ground level.
The money that we would be matching, is that from private donations?
Yes, we have been very successful with private donations. Just since we took over, we've raised close to $100,000, and that's just mostly from private donations. We've had a few fundraisers that we've held, and those have been quite successful. So there's a lot of interest. We've also applied for congressionally directed spending for an HVAC system for the building. There's an old steam boiler that we really need to replace. So, of course, the money that we have raised will be committed for other uses. Then there's money in and money out. We've got to pay insurance and CFP and all that, as you know. So we're applying for other grants through banks, foundations. We've actually have engaged the services of a grant writer, and he's given us a list of associations that we can approach for funding, and we intend to do that. Some of them are small. Most of them are small, actually, so it's going to take a little bit here and a little bit there. I was thinking on the way over here that the condition of the theater is kind of a death by 1,000 cuts, and our goal is to bring life by 1,000 kisses.
Thank you very much. Oh, what's the size of the venue? How many people will be able to sit?
There are 253 seats. And those that's one of the projects we're working on. We've got volunteers that are agreeable for some of the seats.
We as a commission with this program, we're trying to fashion some sort of standards and criteria for when and where to act. And my own personal view, I think that supporting projects from nonprofits to revitalize our small town downtowns is a very good way to invest this money. So he probably got my support on this issue. So I think it falls right within.
I agree. I think that's absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So item number 2605 is very similar to number 3. And is there anybody specifically from Dennistown here?
I am.
Are you?
And Rick's going to represent. He knows all.
I was going to say, I think Rick Petrie has addressed a lot of this already because it's a fairly similar ask. So again, Dennistown, Moose River, Jackman, they're the ones along with UT that kind of support this service. So are there any specific questions you have about Dennistown's asks?
I have a specific one. Mr. Petrie, do you need this money now, or are you guys okay for if we don't figure this out for 2 to 3 months? Just all of these?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just looking to offset what the tax would be. So if it's 2 or 3 months, as you said, it's not something we need right now, but it is something in this budget year that we're looking for.
Because I appreciate John sharing his view, but this money is coming from their area. They're most affected with the impact. And the health and safety of our citizens is unequivocally our first task. I would be okay voting on the paramedic ones today. That's just me. I understand the process, but there's no question. We owe this to the citizens of Somerset County, all of them, up there. But this money, there's no better purpose. We're saving people's lives, literally. That's fine. We can wait, but I want to make sure there wasn't a need today. So you have my support, as John eloquently said to the last fella. All of these, I mean, there's nothing more important than life safety in the area.
I guess I would kind of bring up a little bit more about the question that John talked about in terms of, is this going to be an annual request?
It is our goal for this not to be. We are desperately working hard to have the insurance company, because the reality of it is this program will save the insurance company millions of dollars. And this can be replicated throughout any rural areas in the state of Maine very easily. And it will save millions of dollars. It will keep patients out of the emergency room. It will provide life-sustaining care. And as soon as we can get the federal government to realize that this is reimbursable, that they really need to do that, we don't have to come here anymore and talk to you about that. That is our goal. Absolutely.
At the risk of saying ignorant, which is unusual situation, I'm not really sure I understand what we're talking about. This is a separate, independent paramedic program that's not part of a particular town government or structure that's supported by the towns.
It's because the town of Jackman, Moose River, Dennistown, Moose River Valley have had a volunteer BLS ambulance service there for 4 years. It's been the backbone of health.
That's what we're talking about.
No, but I'm trying to build I'm trying to get to where, I'm trying to explain what goes on there so you'll answer your question. So, but their EMT level, they don't provide advanced life support. And so this program, the paramedic program, is a separate group that is contracted to provide a paramedic 24 hours a day who can support the BLS ambulance service to provide advanced life support care, can do community paramedicine visits in the community, can help out in the clinic, and at night and on weekends, if your 5-year-old has an earache or you get a cut on your arm, they can suture the cut. They can look in your kid's ear and
Without taking you to Scouty.
Without taking you to Scouty, they would do it through telephone.
And is there like informational brochures on this? Or?
I can send you. Yes, there is, and I'd be happy to send you information about the program. I can send it through Tim.
I don't disagree with what Don has to say, but I think we as a commission need to look at requests that are sort of taxation. No one likes paying taxes, and we all do. We try as hard as we can to reduce our county budget, etc. We're trying to help people out. This program, I think, as it started, was more directed toward new initiatives, not just helping towns pay their routine municipal expenses. So I just want to make sure that there's a difference here. I'm hearing from you.
This is a new initiative program. There's nothing like this in the state of Maine, nothing like this in the nation. So this is hands down a new initiative. And if we can get this established and get all the kinks worked out, this becomes replicatable around the state in rural areas where people are struggling to get health care.
And additionally, I was an EMT in a fireman for many years, basically. And there's nothing worse than being in an ambulance, having someone have a heart attack, and I can't push drugs to that person because I'm not licensed as a basic. And that paramedic is in Bingham and or Skowhegan. And you're watching that person die in front. That paramedic that's located in Jackman has the ability to push drugs and do all the life-saving measures. And that's the distinction between their local rescue service and what Sky Carpenter or any of these other paramedics that are up there are doing. And it wasn't Susan Collins' morph idea, which was awesome when they lost their doctor, how to substitute that. And they have her support. It's a matter of getting it through all the bureaucracy of Medicare and Medicaid. This program hopefully will be funded. That's
really like the program you're talking about. We did a community benefit fund grant for sale. I am now on that rescue. And it is paid dividends to, and we have the EMPs on our department that can provide, or EMS can provide this that you're talking about. My only concern is starting down the road of helping with that decision.
I understand.
It's just the thing
And we'll be able to bring it up.
All right, any other questions on?
We're all set. Go forward.
I'd like to
Thank you very much.
just thank you folks for your travels down today. We're sorry it's so hot and humid.
It's okay. I think tomorrow morning it's going to be 30. It's a frost
Brochure.
I'll send them in here.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you.
all would like to see that. Thank you.
What's that?
We'd all like to see the brochure. Thank you.
Yeah, just send it to me. I can distribute to all.
Great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, John.
Up next is number 26-6, which is a Town of Starks projects to install a heat pump in the community center, which they use for town office services and a voting location. It's a $16,000 project. They're looking for $8,100. Is there anyone from the Town of Starks here to speak to this? I don't think anybody's on line for Starks. So, any questions or comments on this one? We've done several of these heat pump projects in the past.
We've done it not for towns, just brings up one issue.
I knew it was coming.
If, I'm not voting, just throwing this out. If the town comes to us and says, we really need a new carpet and office, and if you don't pay for it, we just have it in our regular budget, so how about it? If it's just routine stuff to keep the town going, I don't think that's what this program is for. But I can give it. Just saying.
Okay. There's no other questions. No other questions pertaining to this. I'm sure Commissioner Alsop always brings up more questions. Number 26-7. This is a new entity, the Fairfield Interfaith Food Pantry. They haven't applied before. They have a facility in Fairfield that utilized in the past a dumbwaiter to move stuff from one floor to the other floor for storage. They're looking to invest in a new system that will carry up to 300 pounds. It's about a $61,000 project, and they're seeking $15,000. Is Rose or anyone here from the Fairfield Food Pantry? No, I don't see anyone there. Any questions on this application?
I'll just say that they pretty much need it. The people who are volunteers at the food pantry are elderly, and it's really tough for them to haul things up the stairs. So to have that dumbwaiter would be a godsend for them and all the people who are being served.
Yeah, this is, I promise I'm not saying anything. This sounds good to me. This ticks off all of my person.
Yeah.
Volunteer agency, doing work with food and the community and volunteers. That's really good to me.
All right.
And the taxpayers do provide money to the,
Do they?
Yeah.
They don't.
it's in the warrant. They get a little bit.
Yeah.
So if people are following on Zoom, I just want to get your attention on Zoom. Jennifer, yours are coming up in a minute. Christy, yours is near the end, number 17. And if Susanna, if Suzanne Lavasser is ready, okay, just to unmute and let go. So the St. Albans Housing Corporation is a nonprofit that owns and operates a low-income senior housing unit with 16 units in St. Albans. They are putting in a generator. Anticipated cost is $37,000, and they're seeking $15,000 in funds. And Suzanne, if you wanted to speak to that, that would be great.
Unmute.
You need to unmute yourself.
Still muted, unless Pavel muted it.
Pavel did mute her initially.
Yeah.
There's actually 4 buildings at Fairhaven Terrace, so there's 4 separate generators to go in. Right now, we have portable generators that one of our tenants has to drag out every time if it's a long outage. She's running her gas and keeping it going. So we were hoping to get help with this project so we can have permanent generators with automatic transfer switches.
Okay. Any questions? How long has this facility been there in St. Albans?
It was built in the mid-70s.
Thank you. All right. I see no other questions on this, and thank you very much for being available.
Thank you.
The next item, 2609, comes from Forest Hills. Did anyone get in the bus coming from Jackman? I don't know if Teresa Lovejoy is here. Teresa is the principal at SAD 12 up in Forest Hills in Jackman, and they are doing a security upgrade safety project where they're doing security cameras, upgrading their entryways. It's a total project of about $40,000. The match or the rest of the money is coming from money raised by the town, and they're seeking a grant of $15,000. Forest Hills did apply for a grant back in 2024. They were awarded $5,000 to put new bleachers in their gymnasium, but that project was never completed because it was overcome by other events such as the safety for the school. So, any questions, comments in regards to that?
So, the other money is not from the school budget, it's a specific grant from the town?
They in their application, they refer to municipal funds. So I can only assume that it's either funds that the town of Jackman has. We probably should have got to this before Rick left. Or it's money that's been appropriated in their school budget.
Well,
but Jackman's the only school in the only town in the district.
I know a lot of schools here, I assume that typically comes out of there.
Typically does. Yep. All right. Jennifer Brockway, you're up next at number 10, which is Somerset Woods trustees seeking to acquire a portion of land in New Portland called the Gilman Stream Forest. It's a total purchase of about $366,000, and they're looking for a $15,000 grant to go toward that fundraising. Just so you're aware, Somerset Woods trustees did receive $15,000 from the county in the fall of 24 to replace windows at their headquarters in Solon. You want to speak to any further, Jennifer?
Sure, I'll keep it brief, but as Tim said, we're working on the final stages of an acquisition in Eastern Portland, 175 acres on Gillian Stream. That is supported by the town of New Portland as well as the Snowmobile Club. It's a piece that's critical to the club's trail connectivity. It's 4 corners of the Katy Stream Bridge over the Katy Cross Road Bridge over Gilman Stream. So it's 3 sections of Snowmobile Trail, and if they lose access to those, the trail pretty much shuts down. So the Snowmobile Club has been working with us to secure this piece of land. We're in the final stretch, moving towards closing in July. A grant from this program will allow us to better cap off our fundraising. It's matched by a lot of public money. We received the Hampton's Future grant last year, in part with your support. Appreciate that letter of support in our application. And we're really just trying to finish this up so that we can add a piece of conservation land into Eastern Portland that supports their growing recreational economy there on the Big Western Hills. Parcel remain on festivals, remain open for hunting, fishing, there's water access, trails, year-round use. It's just a really positive project for the town.
Will you be allowing motorized traffic, both snowmobile, ATV, UTV, on that?
Excuse me, at this point in time, Snowmobile, yes. We are needing to work out our relationships with the clubs before we can greenlight any other off-road use.
Any other questions? All right. Thanks for the reference to Katy Crotch Road. We know exactly where it is now. Thank you. Probably everybody here has a sign in the bedroom somewhere. Thank you, Jennifer. We'll be coming back to you in just a minute. So,
okay.
Number 2611 is from the East Pond Association. They have a rather extensive project that they're working on to impact the overall condition of the pond. They're seeking funds to buy a scientific data buoy, which will allow them to gauge the effectiveness of treatment that was done several years ago and to prepare for treatment ongoing of the water quality. Just so you know, the county gave this group a $15,000 grant in the spring of '24 for a dam repair project. And I believe there are some folks. Is Edith here? Yes. You're welcome to speak to this.
Good afternoon. I don't envy you your decision making. It's a very tough one. But I do want to tell you just a little bit about East Pond. We are located in the towns of Smithfield and Oakland, with more of it being in Smithfield than in Oakland. Historically, we have had algae blooms for many, many years. And when we talked about algae blooms, it wasn't just green water. At one point, it was so bad that it actually gelled, and we used pumper trucks to suck it out of the lake and use sieves at our homes to actually take it out of the lake. It was that bad. East Pond has been studied since 1975 by the Maine DEP and for over 30 years with Colby College. And we're very grateful for all that information because that's what allowed us to have an alum treatment done in 2018. In 2018, we were the largest lake in New England to ever be treated with alum. And we used a company called Solitude, which is out of Massachusetts. They were wonderful to work with and did an outstanding job in doing their alum treatment. It was done by GPS, and it was done over the deepest sections of the lake, not the entire lake. Shallow areas were not treated because we're a very windy lake, and that would just stir up and would not be effective. And so therefore, it was purely the deeper sections. Our lake, the water quality of our lake affects all of the communities in this area. We have 4 youth camps on East Pond. They have over 1,000 students that come in the summer. They come from across the United States as well as internationally. We also have a bunch of counselors that come in. They also come from across the United States and internationally. We have 2 other camps on the lake that have a lot of family residents that come in. Once again, they come from all over the place. On my road alone, which is between 1.5 and 2 miles long, we have 11 Airbnbs. We bring in a lot of people, and when the lake turned green, people didn't come. We have been told by the scientists at Seven Lakes Alliance and at Colby College that we are probably looking at a $1.3 million alum treatment. That's today's cost, not the future, today's cost. And that would be within 3 years is what they're anticipating. This buoy is important because it will give us immediate data. What happens in a lake, as you have water quality deteriorating, the bottom of the lake becomes anoxic, which means there's no oxygen. When that happens, it allows phosphorus to come out of the sediments in the bottom of the lake. We don't know how much alum is still down there. We did do borings this winter, and we do have those samples which will be studied by Colby College this summer. And we will know more after we have that information as well. But we are looking forward to at least a minimum of $1.3 million to do another alum treatment. Now, we do have a preservation fund, and we do have in that account $275,000, which sounds wonderful, but when you're looking at $1.3 million, it's a drop in the bucket. And so therefore, that is why I put in the application, and I sincerely appreciate the previous donation that you gave to us, and thank you for considering us. Any questions that I can answer?
Well, that's so the state's been involved, Colby College has been involved. This is a fairly large historic lake. It's been part of the Maine recreational scene for hundreds of years. I mean,
It's the first of the Belgrades that have set a chain of...
yeah, so I'm just, does it fall upon the camp owners around the lake to try to fix this problem, or isn't this something that the state of Maine, I mean, we spend a lot of money. I was thinking to me the state would want to fix this lake. And why are they?
With the initial 2018 application, we did have a federal EPA amount that was given to us. That was a one-time only thing. The rest of it we earned, and we earned it by going to conservation organizations and people that would be considering grants or things of that nature. And then we went house to house and earned the $1.2 million that it took for that application.
Just surprised at the state and say, oh, this lake can turn green and dry up and we don't care.
A lot of lakes.
Yeah.
How much is the buoy?
Excuse me?
How much is the buoy?
Well, as of 2024, it was $15,971 and a few cents. That was a 2024 quote. We have been unable to get a current quote from the company. The scientists at Seven Lakes have been trying to get a quote for several months. We don't know if the company isn't making them anymore or what the issue is. They're still trying to reach out to other companies. It's a very specified, very specific instrument that will measure anoxia and temperatures and quality that we need to have.
With the involvement of Colby College and these other agencies, they probably have a vested interest in this, keeping it the way it needs to be. Has it been talked about in terms of their possible investment in what you're looking for?
Colby College has gotten in the past some scientific grants, and they were able to purchase a boat, and that boat has been provided with all the equipment to go out on the lake and measure phosphorus and things like that that they can do from surface levels and taking water samples. And we also have educated water monitors on our lake board, and they go out and they measure the Secchi disc reading. A Secchi disc is a black and white disc that you spin and you put down into the water, and you measure the depth that you can see it at. And when you can't see the depth of that anymore, that is how your Secchi disc is measured. And that determines water quality as well. In the past couple of years, we have seen in areas signs of algae. It's been in shallower areas, but we're very, very concerned. And the only way that we can find out more is to either proceed with the borings, which we already did, and to put out the buoy to see when that next down. We know it's going to happen. We just don't have a date.
Has Kennebec County, have you gone to Kennebec County for any grant money?
I have not at this point. I have not. Your application had to come up first. I got it at the last minute. I submitted it almost as soon as I got it. And so I have not gone any further yet.
And 15,000, if the buoys, I'll give you 20 because of inflation.
Yeah.
It's only a match. And if it's a $20,000 buy,
It would be only up to 10.
we would need to know if the buoy's even available.
I'd love to be able to give you that. I tried to get an exact quote. And the only thing I had was what I submitted with the application, which was the 2024 cost.
And I appreciate the effort, but I feel more comfortable knowing, A, we could get a buoy, and B, that there's a cost to that we can quantify.
I'm sure that we can get one. I just don't know from whom we can get it at this very instant.
Thank you.
All righty. Number 2612, the West Forks Fire Department. They have about a $45,000 project, which includes purchase of new radios and offsetting some of the costs to replace a 1978 forestry truck. Some of the money is coming from the town, some is coming from the Firefighters Benevolence Fund, and they're seeking a grant of $15,000. I believe James Doria is here to speak to this.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Doria. I'm a captain with the West Forks Fire Department. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Forks area, but we're a town of about, the Forks, the West Forks, is about 120 year-round residents. We service around 50 miles of Route 201, and we also are one of the recreation capitals of Somerset County. So the intersections of ATV trails, snowmobile trails, and about 30,000 whitewater rafting visitors every year. So our fire department is about 18 members. We don't currently have enough working radios for everybody to use. We keep some on the rescue that we use on scene, and we would like to replace those and upgrade those. I mean, obviously, those are very important. We had a forest fire this morning that I went to and grabbed one off the truck, and I went to go use it, and nothing happened. So, God forbid I'd run into a building and, call for a mayday, and nothing happened. So, it's very important. We've asked the town for money. Obviously, our cap space is very small, so there's limited funds. Also, I'm sure you guys know we're trying to raise money for a new fire station as well. We're a little bit behind the times on some things, so we're trying to catch up. The other thing is our 1978 forestry truck that holds 750 gallons of water. That's our second new truck, right? So our first truck is 3,000 gallons. Obviously, when that sets up, we have 750 gallons backup. And mutual aid, right, Mercy mutual aid, that is usually 45 minutes to an hour away. So most, attack lines, 250 gallons per line, per minute. I mean, yeah, exactly. That's about 12 minutes of water that you get, and then you're waiting 45 minutes before someone else shows up. So another fire truck. And I think we're very realistic in that we don't need $1 million fire truck or even a $100,000 fire truck. We're looking for something, around $20,000 to $30,000. Mid 1990s. That is not a standard that only 3 of our people can drive, which is the other issue. Yeah, that's our project. Any questions?
Any questions?
Any questions? I think we're all set.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 2613 is from Merrill Hyde, 40-year in Uni. Storm damage has led to loose bricks on the Skowhegan building that abuts Key Appliance. Insurance claim was denied. The wall is further deteriorating. And John is here to speak to this project, seeking $6,500 in grant.
And Marcus, my law partner, rental also we call on the buildings. Those storms in December and January that did disaster results all over the state, insurance companies said could not possibly have damaged our wall. And last fall, they denied our coverage over this winter because we couldn't do anything last fall at that point. We had more damage. Fortunately, no bricks fell out, but parts of the fascia of the bricks did fall out, indicating that there's now cracks in the mortar. The work is already underway. It was started at the end of last week. We may have observed the scaffolding up there for a couple of weeks, and he's going to be done by the end of this week. So we've already paid our match. We want to get the rest of it. It does preserve the tax base of downtown Skowhegan, because otherwise our building's value would go down tremendously if that wall went in. Plus, we're making sure that nothing happens to key appliance, because it's their roof that anything will fall into. We can't see Bruce put down plywood right at the beginning before we even got this far down the pathway, so that if any bricks did fall out, then they would not go through the roof of the appliance. It's a short expense.
Well, we know the outcome from the town of Skowhegan. Have you talked with Skowhegan Main Street people about grants?
Not Main Street. We were unaware of any grants for structures. And they used to have facade grants in Skowhegan. Those are exhausted, long gone, not available.
I just didn't know if Skowhegan Main Street had something in their pocket.
And as you're aware, we tried to get the TIF grant for the downtown, and the selectmen decided that the TIF money was going to be used to offset charitable requests in the warrant process rather than the 7 TIF grants that were sitting there waiting for the spring sessions.
What was the basis of the insurance? And I think I know the answer, but no.
He
Really no wear and tear.
He tried to say it all more. But he never went up in a lab.
But they're saying it's a lack of maintenance over time.
That's what they're saying. But if you don't go up and look, it doesn't look like that. And Bruce has said that it's clear that the damage was done in those storms.
I don't know.
It's never been a problem.
How I'm an insurance adjuster. I don't know how a rain or wind event damages bricks if it hasn't been maintained over time. That's the only.
All you have to do is go down to Pentagon Lights and look at that foghorn structure they got.
But it's the maintenance. It's over time. It's not a single event. Like insurance has to be a single event.
That foghorn had been maintained very adequately and was in good shape until that storm struck. And we're not the only ones. Pemmican wasn't the only one. I mean, this happened all over. This was an unusual storm. The winds brought all the rain in horizontal and did extensive damage. And the building was built in 1929. Fire went down that section of downtown Skowhegan. It's a steel frame building with brick on purpose. John Merrill's father, my grandfather, was the one who built that. John.
Well, my reservation about this is not to argue about who caused the damage and what was the cause of the damage. I just think, again, we're sort of staring our way through this in the dark. I think we're coming to some sort of standard. So I'm very reluctant to use this money to support for-profit businesses, and not because of the merits of particular claims so much, that I think it just creates a lot of problems that we have to deal with. We don't need to deal with. When somebody in a private business gets free money from the county, the guy next door or other people say, well, how about me? How come I can get that? That doesn't seem fair. And that's the problem. I don't think I, as a commissioner, really want to have to deal with it. So I would say that a small amount of money, as my father used to say, there's money in the bank somewhere. Hopefully you can find other ways of supporting this. But I just think this particular program we have is not well suited for that type of ask. So that would be my opinion.
the program criteria are quite loose. In fact,
I know, we gotta tighten up, we gotta tighten up.
And town of Skowhegan, for instance, decided they were going to move the goalposts in the middle of the application process.
Well, we're
I'm
not,
hoping that moving goalposts, we're still in the fall.
We're not, but I do believe, and I have already had a conversation with you with Skowhegan, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. You and I will both leave it there.
Yes. However, there needs to be for ours, there needs to be an economic development for private industry. We look at economic development and that type of such. For example, we did a daycare center in Madison. We assisted them in the last round. That is to provide jobs and benefits for multiple families in our community. So I may vary a little bit from John with regards to private industry, that I think we can use it there. I don't know that we can profess that this is an economic benefit to Skowhegan. Your wall hasn't fallen in. It's standing. And
if we didn't do the work, it would.
Yeah, or you can sell the building and the next person. So, I mean, I'm coming off of what you did for Scott. So, I do see a benefit to some private businesses. And I do think our criteria is much more constrained than Skowhegan's. I think Skowhegan, and my building is one. 100% agree. But at that time, it was, and you did it under my time, there was a set of rules. They changed the rules. No question. We did, our rules are economic benefit. Multiple people, not two, multiple people.
It's not just two, it's the whole downtown.
How is that benefiting us?
If the building collapses inward, then you have people.
That's a big jump.
well, let's get to my. Really, I think this is something you gotta say, finally, else sort of face up. And for the record, I do support the community center.
He loves the daycare too.
I think this pays all the problems. For the public departments to do this.
The last time we had an economic structure like we had was 2008. When we had an economic downturn, that when we sent out bills to the law firm, and Jonathan, remember your bills were probably similar, $2,000, $2,600 bill would go out at the end of the month. When people can't put gasoline in their pickup truck to get to work, and they can't put oil in their tank to keep the house warm, they can't buy food for their clients, whose bill is the last bill paid? We were 7, 8.
I certainly empathize with the social election issues, but I just don't think that's the mission is here. But
All you can do is apply. We were advised that the program was there. And I would hope that you put your heads together and fund everybody on the list somehow. Something helps everybody. Thank you very much.
Very well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So just give a heads up to Jennifer Brockway. We're coming back to you on this next one. This is 2614, repairs to the Skowhegan Indian. Watching Point is a newly formed nonprofit. Jennifer is helping them with the grant application, and they are, as I understand, now the owners of the Skowhegan Indian. They're seeking a $15,000 grant to go toward an estimated $30,000 in renovation costs. And Jennifer, if you can fill in a little bit of the blanks for this project, that'd be great.
Sure. I just want to first emphasize I'm representing Washington Point, not Somerset at this point. Washington Point was started, as Tim said, in the last 8 weeks to acquire the farms to care for and promote the Skowhegan, and our first project is the Skowhegan Indian, which we acquired from the Skowhegan Chamber of Commerce just recently. As all of you probably are aware, it's in significant need of repair and stabilization so that it can be saved as part of the iconic landscape of Skowhegan. We believe it's part of the outdoor art that is important for promoting Skowhegan as a cultural destination, and there's a limited window of opportunity to see it. And so we're looking for county support to help us get those initial repairs done this summer before it further deteriorates. Happy to answer questions.
Is the town interested at all, or are they watching?
The town previously declined to accept ownership of the sculpture. We have not come support for Washington Point at this time.
When Washington Point took possession of this, did you have the 32, I don't have the exact amount, 45 or 32 that was to repair the Indian, or did you take possession of an entity that you knew with no money to fix it?
We're scrappy community volunteers who believe in the value of the Indian, and so we accepted it knowing that it's going to need repairs. We are already working to fundraise. We've received a tremendous amount of pledges and and we're just, at this point, it's just trying to, we're getting our 501c3 and our fiscal agent lined up so that we can accept public funds the private funds that will then match the county funds.
How much money have you acquired thus far? You said you had large financial support.
We have 5,000 in hand, and then we have to try. Well, we were probably at 10,000 in budgets. We took care of the Indian.
Jennifer, just curious, what's the actual nature of? I mean, how do you get at it? It seems like it's falling apart in a lot of different ways. What's the strategy for fixing it? Is it getting infusion of fiberglass or something, or is there a technical aspect to it?
So the repairs will be done by the same folks who repaired it in 2014, Steve Dion and Joe Almond. They are fine carpenters who have a lot of experience with art restoration, and I would defer to them. Joe and Steve, and I don't know that either of them are in the room with you today.
And isn't Joe the principal of your nonprofit?
He is, yes. Yes, there are 4 of us on the board. 5 of us on the board now. Again, this is for just getting up and running.
Jennifer, is the Indian on the National Registry of Historic Places?
It is not.
I didn't think so. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Item 2615 is from the town of Smithfield. They're seeking a grant of almost $3,800, or a project of $3,800 with a grant of about $1,700 to go toward the cost of purchasing tablets for their fire department. I believe Rebecca is here.
I'm Rebecca Anderson Bright, first select person in Smithfield. And basically we had tried to budget way back in November, December when we were putting together a budget for the purchase of a new computer for the fire department to replace one that's 7 years old, as well as a tablet that would be for training new firefighters and being able to take into the field. But unfortunately, between the time that we got the first quote and when the budget was approved and we went to purchase it, the price had about doubled. So we were looking at having to take from the select person's contingency fund, and considering we're a very low budget town with a $10,000 contingency fund, we could not fund both the laptop and the tablet. And normally I would have said, let's take it to the taxpayers next year. This can wait, but we have had a great need to train new firefighters. In fact, in March, we had a structure fire that took the home of one of our select persons, and only 2 volunteer firefighters were able to show up from Smithfield. So it's become very critical that we start to get some new young people involved immediately and try to rebuild interest in the fire service in Smithfield. So, as of our meeting last night, we're renewing our push to get a junior firefighter program going immediately, recruit some seasoned firefighters. And at this point, the fire department would just have a single laptop for both administration and training. So this purchase of this infield tablet would be, to get the new firefighters trained up, and to be able to take them to the field eventually as well.
Just a quick question in terms of the training that you're talking about. Mandated state training, so, and they utilize the tablets. Most fire departments have that system now. Also, communication, because now we get our phone. So, I wanted to clarify that these sort of folks here that the training is mandated and it requires online use as well as the basic communication.
Is this an emergency situation where you need this purchase immediately?
I would say within the next 3 to 4 months before the next budget approval, simply because we need to get those new firefighters trained. And it was difficult to us to work out the logistics. That's how we would have one laptop for potentially, 3 to 4 junior firefighters plus 2 or 3 other volunteers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, number 2616 is the Palmyra Park Boosters Club, expanding a local play area, rubberized mulch and new equipment. It's about an $11,000 project, so they're seeking a grant of $5,500. This club has received funds from the county in the fall of 24, about $14,000. They requested $15,000 for playground equipment in the fall of 25, so our last round, but that request was denied. And I believe there's some folks here from Palmyra to speak to that.
We built a new playground, I think, 3 or 4 years ago with COVID money. It was over $100,000. We'd like to expand on that. That playground has been used. I don't know if you people go by Palmyra too. I mean, it's used all the time. We'd like to put a wheelchair swing in, and we'd like to put a, I don't call it, the spring horse. Those kids, there's a line out there just using it. So some of it's the mulch to expand one corner, and we can put that equipment in there. That 2024 was our basketball, pickleball. We had it resurfaced and painted, and that's right beside it, and it's been used a lot.
Did you do the work that you applied for that we didn't fund you for the $15,000? Did you do that work as well?
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
All right.
The only thing left we have to do is put the fence up, and we have people donated that one ADA fence.
I still do not understand why this board denied your request, which I was in favor of. I think anything that gets kids outdoors doing stuff is a very worthy project. And I never really understood what the problem was.
I voted for
it. So, anyway.
I think it was too close to the other one.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
It's actually doing good work out there. The kids are benefiting.
Which I don't like. I don't know if you want to see us here every year. We're trying not to. We're raising a lot of money, and we got a new baseball field going out there.
Great. That's great.
It's a going project, and the kids have been really using that playground out there.
Thank you. So if no other questions, this one's going to go back to our Zoom. I believe this is Christy Krasnavich from Holland Drug. They are a for-profit pharmacy in Skowhegan, but they're seeking to start a free delivery of prescriptions to residents that are no longer served, such as Solon, Bingham, and Jackman. They're seeking a grant of $10,000. So, you want to add anything to that, Christy?
Yeah, sure. I'm actually the pharmacy manager here at Rutgers. So prior to January of this year, we had typically been mailing prescriptions to our residents who can't make it to the pharmacy in a timely manner. So as most often are folks who live in Solon, Bingham, and Jackman. At the end of the year last year, we were finding the United States Postal Service, which we use for our letters, really, really slow, to the point where, and it wasn't really just slow, it was unreliable. So we would be mailing prescriptions from here to Skowhegan, just the Moscow, and after a week or two, they wouldn't arrive. When we pull up the tracking information, we can see they've gone as far as Minnesota before making it to Moscow. Obviously, that's not ideal for patients who are in need of critical medications that are going to occasionally be life-saving, of course. And so, in order to accommodate these needs, we did decide to expand our home delivery service. So, in January, we opened our service to delivery service all the way up to Jackson. So currently, we are headed to Jackson twice a month. So we go, I believe, the second and fourth Friday of every month. On our way to Jackson, we're able to stop for our residents who are located in Solon or Jam or close enough in Moscow to, the route, essentially, in order to get patients and medications. However, of course, that's a big long term for us. That is taking time from our employees that are trying to do the deliveries, obviously the wear and tear on the vehicle, the cost of gas, all of those things come into consideration. And so the mail service that was a free service we provided where we cover the cost of the shipping to benefit the patient. In order to provide this delivery service that we began in January, we could not accommodate it at zero cost due to the travel expenses involved. And so we have come up with a fee scale where we have applications who are seeking delivery services to fill in or $12 per month, or they could pay $99 for a calendar year of this service. This is not affordable for many of our patients who are in those rural areas. And so unfortunately, they are still either utilizing the mail service or they are having to drive the distance down to pick up the medications. Obviously, this is not ideal for anyone. I was listening in a little bit on the paramedics who were on here earlier to come up with a solution for our rural patients, and it really rings true to the service we're looking to provide as well. Receiving your prescription medications on time goes hand in hand with staying healthy and avoiding hospital visits, avoiding ambulance rides, avoiding emergency rooms, all of those high expenses that we can see come from lack of prescription adherence and compliance. And so we really want to find a solution to get our patients what they need and when they need it. And so we're trying to come up with creative solutions to figure out how we can meet the expenses that they require to get the delivery, as well as get them what they need when they need it, so they can stay healthy and safe to the best of.
Thank you.
I utilize your delivery service in Skowhegan and I love it. So, however, creative thinking to limit costs. Have you thought of teaming up with the Jackman Health Center or Bingham's ambulance service to disperse the drugs out of there and have them pick them up when they do a rundown to bring back a bunch of them and then make sure they're dispersed out by an EMT or a qualified person rather than the cost? Because I think John's going to win on the public business thing on this. I mean, I do think it's very, very important. I'm wrestling this.
And I see, I see where you're coming from. I have necessarily the connections as far as the ambulance that's wonderful. But I would say, part of what we are doing to encourage this and to create a positive solution or outcome is we, as a pharmacy, can line up patient prescriptions so that they are filled exactly when we're going to deliver. My only hesitation for this, for using the ambulance for EMT services is less scheduled ability, less able for us to really line that, ensure, and it's a little bit more soon. So I do appreciate that idea, and we'll seek into that. But I just, I think ideally it would be nice if we could just plan to go and know exactly what we're bringing them, when we're bringing them. It's kind of the idea.
I guess my question is, it's kind of all those out of the matching grants. They're not putting anything to this. Is that correct?
So they do, in their application, they do provide a match, but I believe it's the cost that she mentioned.
But I didn't see it there.
Yeah.
I guess the other question that I have is this just a grant for starting up, and then you will seek monies ongoing, or will this be something that will be revisited as well?
Is this a one-time ask?
Yeah.
I mean, it's at this time, it is, we're like I said, we kind of started this program in January. We're trying to help our patients immediately as best we can. So this would help us to create that solution for them. I didn't really do it forever, so it could be something that we work together to come up with the way that we fund it after this. If this grant is not something that is applicable for it in a continuous sense, but we are of course thinking about patients in a critical sense, and what we need most urgently now is to figure out ways to get them their medications. So I think right now we're just trying to troubleshoot and figure out how we can help our patients in this moment and at this time so that they can receive what they need and get their best health care.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One more creative thought, Meals on Wheels for a lot of those clients that don't have the revenue. They may be getting a service like that as well, which is driving to their house every day on a regular basis or every week. That may be another agency to align with. There's social service agencies that visit a lot of these clients where you may be able to overlap. Just as a creative thought, just trying to get the problem solved.
Yeah, certainly. I think, it's like the risk, of course, of certain items and just the consideration as to once it leaves the pharmacy, who's liable, all those things.
Yep, I get it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, number 18 is from the town of Bingham, scenic byway interpretive panels. So this is a $17,000 project looking for a grant of about $8,800. The town requested funding for this project in the last round, the fall of 24. That request was denied. The panels are being provided by the Old Canada Road. The funds are being asked for to help, I guess, prepare the area for the signs to go. I think Drew is here from Bingham to speak to this.
Hi, my name is Drew Foreman. I'm the selectman for town of Bingham. About the last year and a half, we've been working with Old Canada Road Scenic Byway on this program for doing some historical, the interactive panels that they've installed along the byway. Right now, Bingham's kind of the last stretch that they haven't touched much. And then, so we're looking at 4 sites in Bingham. There's also 2 sites in Moscow. And these panels range from historic timelines, things to do around town. So what we have we have all the panels, we have all the installation, the posts, the sign trays, everything in storage that the byway got with a grant and then gave to us. And like, put them in. So we're trying to work to that. We've had them in storage for the last year. So what this grant would do would be to help fund the installation and the site finishings, plantings, pathways, and whatnot.
But they're going to be, would there be picnic tables and places that actually stop, get out of your car? And
Right. One of the sites across from the old Thompson's restaurant right downtown, we're making like a little mini pocket park, that's what we're kind of calling it. There'll be a couple benches there, as well as where our new electronic sign is, out by the end of the road and town office is on. We have a whole parking lot there that we're trying to beautify up. And there'll be a couple benches and bottom boxes there.
So are these interpretive signs? These are going to go right into some stretch of Bingham, the built-up stretch of Bingham?
Yep. So there's 4 sites throughout the main street of Bingham, as well as 1 site, and 2 sites in Moscow, one at the dam and one at Baker Mountain.
Does your town have?
No.
Like, you don't have a road commissioner?
The select board and the road.
The contract out.
We've had probably 10 or 12 people that have been on different meetings with us. We've been planning these and gathering all the information for these over the last year and a half. We've had people, including myself, I own a landscaping business in town as well. Said they'll donate and help labor and for the manual labor that's on equipment as well.
Well, just, I don't mind saying that anything that would improve the Bingham downtown area, I would support. And I'm also in favor of supporting tourism, ecotourism, and anything like that. As long as it's incorporated. I mean, I like the idea of a reason to stop other than to look at the sign.
Right.
Take a place of a house, whatever. Something to encourage that kind of activity.
Yeah, the idea would be to help kind of build back Main Street.
Yeah, and it's certainly
all the sites are in walking distance of each other, so they'll be going through past the very few businesses that are on Main Street.
very good.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. All right. You guys are doing great. You're down to number 19. Skowhegan Outdoors. It's a subsidiary of Main Street Skowhegan. Main Street has received community benefit funding in the past. So my mistake on this one. So the project is to try to improve outdoor recreation at the Skowhegan Gorge area. I interpreted what they said was a slalom gate as a salmon ladder. So there's no salmon ladder in the project, okay? It's a slalom gate. And so I'll let Amber from Skowhegan Outdoors explain that.
Hi there. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak on this, especially given the slight confusion here. So this has absolutely nothing to do with the dam or anything in that capacity as it relates to salmon ladder. So I just want to clarify that. A slalom course, canoe and kayak slalom is actually an event in the Summer Olympics. We, through our work with Main Street Skowhegan and the Skowhegan Outdoors program that it runs, have made contact and great partnerships with folks in the American Canoe Association, the folks that facilitate these Olympic qualifying events and so on. There's some regional events that occur, such as the New England Slalom Series, the closest being up on the Kentucky River, which happens in early May. This application is requesting support for the purchase of a set of slalom gates, which was suggested to us by these partners. The American Canoe Association competition director, to be specific, has a set of slalom gates available to purchase at a low cost, seeing as slalom gates are not run of the mill in this region. However, in the Southeast, a culture of slalom is very significant in the whitewater space. This project has a few different components. It's certainly the purchase of the physical equipment, the slalom gates. I think there's 36 gates and affiliated equipment. This request would also support the installation of those gates in a semi-permanent capacity, in which it would require some mounting brackets on either side of the gorge. And these gates would essentially be put out on some wire during the spring and used for competition training, for learning opportunity, for whitewater and other sorts of crafts that we could bring down on the river. This request is also supporting additional access to the river as it relates to the current portage stairs, which are actually the only access point to the river at this time. We're in current conversation with the folks who manage the New Balance facility there, as well as the new owners of the business plaza, to help support getting some more lighting and infrastructure. And we received permission from them to improve that area through whatever means possible, because we are currently programming the river from that set of stairs. For example, in 2025, we already had 450 humans that we put into our fleet of whitewater kayaks over the course of the year. Many of those were youth participants. We had a project request last year for our Youth Summer Learning Series, which last year was 5 weeks, including mountain biking instruction, whitewater instruction, paddling. And despite not being funded by the commission at that time, we actually were able to secure additional funds to not only run that programming last year, but expand it to 7 weeks this summer. So there is no denying that paddling, whether there's a fancy schmancy river park in our gorge or not, is a community and public health and economic driver for this region. 20% of individuals that are coming through the Kennebec Valley are seeking paddling opportunities. So I think this would only just be an added benefit for our community as we do prepare for what that eventual river park may look like. And I'm pleased to say that the portion of that project, which includes the riverfront boardwalk, just by the walking bridge, is actually breaking ground in June. thanks to the aggressive efforts of Main Street Skowhegan to raise several $1 million from philanthropic sources, grants, and congressionally directed spending and other avenues to be able to complete those projects. So, yes.
So these long gates, they hang from cables?
They do, yes.
And are the cables only there when the salon gates are there?
That's right. Yeah.
When your salon season is over, you take them in?
You slide them back. That's correct. And when and if the River Park, well, I shouldn't say that. When the River Park comes to fruition, it would actually just add another additional layer of ability of use and ease of access. And then if folks aren't interested in using that feature, we would be able to use, half of the river or whatnot to be able to still ensure that that slalom course is functional. Or we can, shift it downstream and have it be just an additional piece of that park project.
Clayton Cole has something to do with this?
He actually is one of the individuals that has written a letter of support included in the application. He would be hired on as a consultant, an assessor to help with kind of install. He has experience with the New England Slalom Series, yeah, he's fantastic. Which is why my application ended up the last one on the list, as I waited for our final letters of support from some wonderful folks. I'll mention one other piece of this project being bringing professional athletes into this community to be able to facilitate training for our youth and for our community members. Another letter that's included in this application is from an Olympic athlete named Taylor Westfall, who has agreed to come into town and should this fall course come to fruition, be willing to support use and just kind of get some kids excited as we prepare for the 2028 Olympics.
I was the chairman of the select board in Skowhegan when we took from surplus the $1 million, which would allow you to go out and seek other grants having that funding.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, your director was in front of us, and the river park was planned to do what you are describing. It was never planned for a wave. It was to bring in competitions to create that economic driver, to differentiate us with a slalom. At some point, that pivoted. Don't know why. But I do find some irony in that we funded that with the $1 million seed to go get all this other money, and now in a new capacity, but being faced with the same ask 12 years later. I thought that was part of that funding.
I speak on that only from my 2-year tenure with the organization, and at that time, 12 years ago, our current director, Christina, who's obviously been very outspoken about this project over the last several years, I do not know what the original ask and intention was. However, I do know that there was a study done, a feasibility study on record in 1999 that describes the run-of-river facility being a wave feature, a competition wave. Freestyle kayaking is another discipline of the Olympics. So it's not to say that, I don't know what that context is, but I will say that $1 million seed has not been left out to dry or anything in that sense, but and that project originally budgeted at $6 million, five years ago has grown to potentially double that amount, and we have followed suit by fundraising several dollars. So this project, the reason I come to this board here asking for this project in particular is because the River Park is its own demon with its own context and thoughts and feelings, whereas this is something very tangible that can be achieved in the next several months, as opposed to a project that will continue to require fundraising and support and buy-in from community members in town. So, and I will also speak to the fact that we did stand in front of the Town of Skowhegan Select Board and receive permission to essentially lease that area of the river from the town, which is a huge component of this, and that we do have permission to utilize this area, this land, to be able to install it.
And this will complete this. You're saying if we give you the 15, we give you whatever that ask is. This summer, we will see gates hanging in the river.
The project is slated by May of 2027, but the acquisition of the gates would occur shortly thereafter receiving the funding, and the gates could be in the board as soon as the summer, if not this fall. I hesitate to agree to say that this would complete anything. This would just be another component of this project that has been long-standing and ready to go, especially as it relates to this boardwalk occurring downtown. Right now, you would be spectating an empty gorge, which is no fun. But the boardwalk is an incredible economic driver as it relates to the downtown businesses there, and to have some folks able to spectate on this and hold competitions and bring the New England Solemn Series and et cetera into town, far preceding a fully established river park. This is the reason for coming.
And this, for lack of a better term, the spectator area, that is happening this summer. We have the money, it's secure. It's
It's
done.
happening. Groundbreaking, you heard it here from the first folks, is June 15th.
Okay.
And just like I said to our President Elmira, I will support anything that gets people outdoors doing stuff, and in particular, that has sort of an ecotourism and flavor to it, which I think this clearly does. And I also, not apologizing, but I voted in support of the last funding request for exactly the same reasons, and I'm still agog that it wasn't approved. But I don't want to do fellow members.
I have a few we could relocate too if you want.
But we'll do that afterwards.
I know we're doing in any capacity, sure, but it's just the fact that we were able to proceed and fund that project.
Good for you. Good.
Aggressively. That's what, and that's kind of the sentiment of our organization. So.
Well, you're saying that this project, this portion of the full project, or this piece, would be fully utilized this summer?
I don't want to make any promises, but I know that the gates are currently in my inbox to just reply that we are able to purchase these gates, have them shipped to us, and then the installation, the consultation piece with Plate and Pole and other members of the Solemn Series would occur this summer, and hopefully by, it actually would likely be ideal to do it sometime in September when the water comes down just a bit, so we can better navigate the shore and such. So do some experimenting down there.
Okay.
Just because I don't know a lot about the geographic situation and the fact that we've got the possibility of 4 games being removed ongoing, how is that if it happens going to impact us?
As it relates to the river park and the language we use around the river park, because the river park is an adjustable wave shaper, the flow that is coming from the run-of-river facility right now would not impact the use of that feature as we can adjust it as such. So removing the dam, certainly there's that period of time where I'm sure that the river gorge itself is closed and whatever they need to do to deconstruct and remove that feature. But following the removal of that dam, should that proceed, the increased recreational opportunities up and down the corridor in downtown Skowhegan would only expand and increase. Who knows what would be below that, under that dam. However, we are recognizing that that dam is an integral piece of the economy of this region. So we actually have to be really staying pretty neutral as it relates to that. But it would not impact the
I actually don't want those to go away real quick. It happened. I'm just looking at this in terms of, is this all going to go in and then be?
Is there enough water?
Yes. Sure. Yeah, and that's a valid question, and I think the river park, the nature of the design of the river park is such that it is anticipating a significant change in flow already due to the run-of-river facility. I mean, this summer in our severe drought conditions in early September, I think there was about 1,000, maybe 1,200 CFS flowing from that run-of-river facility. The water was extremely low. And actually, it was quite fun to kayak at that level. I kayaked the gorge yesterday afternoon. 8,500 CFS yesterday, a bit wavier, a bit more fun. But in either condition, that run-of-river facility, no matter the flow, there is water to be able to support both that river park adjustability and the fall, of course, most definitely, and that we could easily.
And with the slalom, I don't want to take time. The slalom, is that below the train trestle?
I believe I would, yes. I would have to try to play in some of our consultation folks that will come in, but being that the gorge walls are fairly tall there, I think that would be where it would be most ideal.
And all access is coming down the steps.
Yeah, and I'll mention that one more time, and thanks for reiterating that part of these funds would be used to improving those steps, their access through whether it's, I think I put some solar lighting, just above the stairs, some picnic tables, some security cameras perhaps, flower pots, So, not only is this an in-river component as it relates to the slalom course, but it's also that access piece for not only boaters, but also fishers, people that I see down there.
But I thought your patio park was giving you access on this side. You were tiering it and getting down to the water. Is that not correct?
That's phases into the boardwalk. That is correct in the long term, but that is the solution that, we are constructing phase 1 of the boardwalk, which would essentially go from the walking bridge down behind the appliance and a little bit ways. So that would be the first phase, right? And then the next phase would include additional boardwalk further down. So, it's a project that has multiple phases because it requires, these types of conversations to continue happening with property owners and, ensuring we're doing our due diligence around the river corridor itself and the ecosystem there. So, and the stairs that currently are already there, and they are in horrible, horrible condition, and yet we continue to use them to bring our youth down. And we're actually bringing some corporate teams from around the country down there next week, and it's great to showcase these assets that we have in our community, but it would be even better if we had a little bit better.
You should have seen what it was like 40 years ago.
Scaling down the hall, yeah.
Ropes and pitons.
Any further questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay. Well, I'm going to entertain a 5-minute break. Coffee fit. I have to re-gift your gift.
Okay.
All right, so
Are you going to exclude those?
We have recess for 5 minutes. We should figure out the- I will certainly let you know what the next steps. Thank you. As far as meeting.
Oh, yeah. When you worked for the Attorney General. I did. Never. Just terrible. I was trying to remember. I didn't speak to them. I used to go out and
Patrick had a game.
Dave's gone.
That's good. Folks, all the attention on the important.
Push-ups.
See, I'm not very skilled.
We still have to
Well, good.
Both mine and was fine.
They're both trying. I'm getting in the morning. High school, commercial water. Becoming very famous at the University of Georgia. And he never lifted anything. He didn't. He did 500 sit-ups, 500 push-ups a day. I saw him do that. He just, I went to the he was.
Somehow, right near where they came.
Maybe
That's what I did.
That's it.
He would race his sister. His sister was on the track team.
Did you say?
I was a track. I ran track.
The bicyclists.
It looked like fun.
I've heard there's something.
You know, school around there.
It's a Chinese problem. It's steamy in here. It's bad, that's for sure.
Yeah, the AC seems to be quite a
Have
Not in here, only upstairs.
Only upstairs. Yeah, he said
it was nice up there. Well, once the courthouse gets built, maybe we can have our meetings up there.
They're comfortable except for the wooden benches.
Yeah, yeah. And you didn't steal a cushion?
No, I wanted to.
That didn't happen, huh?
No, but not, kind of like the last one.
Yeah, because I saw what the Yeah.
Not until one goes down.
we're gonna move upstairs.
If they go to break I think they bought how much house?
Yeah. No, you live there. They started.
The same who's.
Don't go wandering off. No, I'm just going. We need to wait for our leader. We need to pull.
I don't know.
No, that's without. And then, yeah, we want. Yeah, these ones seem to be a little bit mixed up. Some of them
Yeah.
Some proficiency. Some of it.
I consider.
Chat about something else. It's pretty good.
Oh, they each go over.
Age and property. Yeah. And stuff.
Yeah.
Attachment to this, yeah. There's this kind of interesting.
They got some stuff. Yeah, right. There you go. Good job.
Seems like
Hey, hold on. The meeting will come to order.
It will.
Chin wagging over there.
Well.
A chin wag. Oh, this is, thank God we have to do this.
Oh, look at
Look at the
this.
wrong agenda.
All right, gentlemen, recess is over. No public hearings. New agenda items, commissioners only.
No, sir.
None.
Moving on.
Administrators report.
I guess I'm the only one left with the sheriff to give a report.
Moving on.
Everyone has bailed. Just a note on a couple of things that are coming up on the agenda and items I put in your packet. So you've heard more than one reference to CDS, Congressional Direct Spending, through Senator Collins' office. So the Jackman Fire Station project, the Cambridge Fire Station project, those have been forwarded by Senator Collins to the federal appropriations bill, which is the last hurdle in getting funded. I didn't get a letter regarding the West Forks, but when I spoke to Jimmy Dorian, he believes that they also were forwarded in the appropriations to the table at Feds. Notably for us, Dr. O'Connor, that runs our sublocate program at the jail, was able, with the help of the sheriff, to get a $1.2 million sublocate grant into that program as well. And we did receive a letter from Senator Collins' office saying that one has been forwarded to appropriation. So we've got some good things working, and hopefully those go according to plan. This is matching grant season. So in the spring of 25, those awards are now being finalized. You're going to have one resolution, number 71, to approve the Forks Chamber coming up. And then you're going to have a resolution to approve requests to extend the deadline. So projects that were awarded in 25, spring of 25, have to be done by 30th of June. And so Madison's Public Library is asking for an extension. They have demolished their old ramp, but they have not been able to construct the new ramp yet. And Hospice Volunteers of Somerset County are also asking for an extension as they continue their training program for hospice volunteers, with a special focus in Jackson. I was at a Maine County Commissioners meeting in Belfast on Monday, and at that time I met with Commissioner Kevin Kelly from Waldo County. I had originally scheduled a review of the contract with Waldo County for jail administrative services. I'd scheduled that for executive session, but after discussing it with the chair, I don't think we need to go into executive session. You don't need to take action on this contract today because Waldo hasn't finalized. They've just given me some ideas to put forth, but I believe you need to discuss it so that we can kind of go back and forth and get this in place. So on your tables, you should have a copy of the contract. And after that, I'll just make a couple of comments. Well, first of all, are you okay to discuss this at this point?
I'm fine to discuss it.
Okay.
I've read it and I have some questions.
All right, great.
I do too.
I figured you would. Just as a caveat, this format for contracting is based on the Town of Madison contract for policing services.
Do we have that thing on? Or is that off now?
No, that's just
The Zoom is off.
Zoom's off.
Okay, but the meeting's still.
The meeting's still recorded. As long as that light's on, the meeting's
But
recorded.
does it get put on YouTube? Or?
You're on YouTube Live right now.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that's.
I'm sure that many people watch.
So the format of this contract or agreement with arbitration, extension, termination, indemnity, all of that is standard language that was vetted by a lawyer when we did the first Madison policing contracts. So since then, I've always just used this template to base other contracts on it. So if there's things that you see that are glaring errors or things you're concerned about, just let me know. But rather than vetting every contract, I just use the same template. So this one here, pretty much the levels of service pay. Those are the pretty much the main things that we were talking about. And these were recommended by Matt Magnuson. You met Matt in an executive session at the last meeting. So it's kind of like a consultant saying, these are the services I've identified that I think you need, and so these are the recommended fixes and costs associated with it. So with that, I'm assuming most of it, if not all of you, have read it. What are your thoughts and questions?
I just want to go down through it piece by piece.
Yep.
So starting with Article 1.1 Administrative Oversight. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Well, I have a basic question before we get to that, which is, have we decided on a percentage, like 60-40, 70-30?
So I think the percentage, the average percentage will be 3 days in Somerset. Although this particular week, that we have a lot going on, he's being 4 days in Somerset.
So that sounds like 60-40, 3 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
because it relates to some of these other things for today. So, assuming whoever gets hired for this position makes $100,000, I'm just throwing a number out, that's easy, and $100,000. Does that mean he's getting 2 paychecks, or does it mean that Somerset's going to pay 100% of that and get reimbursed by Waldo?
No, the intent is that Waldo is providing this service on a contracted basis, and we're just paying an agreed upon amount. He's not on our payroll. He's a consultant. He's on Waldo's payroll.
He's a Waldo County employee.
He's not going to be a Somerset County employee.
Not with this contract.
Okay, now I understand this.
Okay. So may I proceed with 1.1? Any questions?
Yeah.
Oh. 1.2, field training services. I just have a question on the wording. We have Waldo County will provide up to 300 hours of Maine Criminal Justice Academy trained field training. I guess I don't understand that phrasing.
Yeah, it's a little awkward, isn't it? I can fix that.
And then-
Essentially, field training services is something that was offered by Waldo. They have experienced people that can do that. Obviously, the question comes up is ultimately this is something that we should be doing in-house.
Right.
And they are offering the services. I broke it down, as you'll see in the next section, the next article, to a hourly rate rather than a monthly stipend for this. But the training will allow a person to be able to pass the test at the Criminal Justice Academy to become a field training officer. But I can readjust that.
The 300 hours, is that a lot? A little?
Well, this is over the term of the whole contract, which is
A year.
20 months. No, it's 18 plus 2. So, but we, back and forth through negotiations, we worded it in such a way as when Somerset deems it complete and we have the right people in place, then we'll take it on in-house and no longer pay the $75 an hour for Waldo.
But that goes to 1.4, but before we get to 1.4, we'll get to 1.3, the policy development. Unless you want to put 2.2 field training is the one that's after that. But here in policy development, you've got Waldo Detention Manager Randy Fox creating a Somerset Policy Committee. Who will be on the committee? Is Fox the only one making the appointments, and who vets these appointments?
So all appointments will be statement about by me. But we need to review all our policies, and at the end of the day, we need to have people that are well versed on how to read policy, interpret policy, draft policy. And so those people will be put on the committee with the hope to be independent and make sure that we're 100% compliant.
Then I think this wording is not clear, because you're saying under the direction of Waldo Detention Manager Randy Fox. It wouldn't necessarily be under his direction, because
He'll lead the committee conversation for a while. My intent is for
then I
when
think
we're satisfied that we'll take that.
it's probably misplaced.
And I think, again, as talks have gone back and forth on this, again, this was based on what Matt Magnuson presented as a proposal, but I think we can probably remove the names. We can remove Randy's name, and obviously any policy development is going to be under the direction of the sheriff and his staff. So we can really maybe rephrase that to be the establishment of a policy committee, which, to my knowledge, there is not a policy committee at this point.
Right. We have a programs manager that reviews, but we really need to have a concerted effort to coordinate our policy and the pathway forward of how we're going to be doing it moving forward.
I would feel better if the name was removed, and as I've expressed to both Matt and our sheriff, I would feel much better if this was led by Matt. At the direction of our sheriff. Led by our sheriff and Matt at the helm. I think for continuity purposes, that's very important, but that's
I don't disagree.
Yeah, no, that's good too. That's good. More clarification, which is needed.
Yeah.
And we go to Article 2, fee for services, 2.1 administrative fees. Any questions or concerns there?
I would just add that we would probably remove the names there and just simply say that Somerset agrees to pay $6,500 a month to Waldo for administrative oversight and policy development.
Yeah, and I would say Waldo County.
Again, that goes back to the very first article that says hereinafter referred to as Waldo.
Okay.
So just doing the math, does that sounds like paying 2/3 of whoever this person would be, 2/3 of the salary.
So you had what we have budgeted for a jail administrator right now. Again, use your even numbers to say 100,000.
Yeah.
So right, 65 times 12 is probably what, around 50,000?
78,000.
Yeah. It's about 78 of what we would pay a jail administrator.
Well, what am I doing?
Without that.
Well, I don't want to go into the details of the contract with any particular individual in the section.
That's right. Yeah, I don't want to talk about people.
Yeah, so I think because this is where the rubber hits the road. Hey,
He's still getting paid from Waldo County. This is what Waldo.
but I guess what I'm asking, and I think it should be asked in executive session. What is he getting paid? And how,
He's on the payroll for Waldo County, so whatever he's negotiated for his pay at Waldo County is what he's getting.
It's irrelevant. All the county's charging us $75 an hour.
Yeah,
Based on this math.
and it's irrelevant anyway because it's public information what he's paid.
yeah, I guess I'm confused.
But it's good to just remove all names of people.
Yeah.
It makes the contract a little bit more flexible.
Sure.
2.2 field training, that's the $75 an hour. But that's, again, to Waldo for the field training. How does that relate back to the field training services?
So if they have someone at their disposal that is already a certified training officer, they would provide that initially to us, and they would keep track of the hours that that person spends doing the training here. And if that takes 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever it is, to build up the people we identify in our current jail that can become FTOs, that's essentially what we're paying the $75 an hour for. And again, I tried to word it in such a way as when the sheriff makes a determination that we have enough qualified people, then we no longer have to pay the $75 an hour to.
That's a pretty good hourly rate.
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
I mean, it's not lawyer fees, but it's a certified person. So.
And is that reimbursement to the county, Waldo County, or is that
Not reimbursed? It's not reimbursed.
That's direct pay to the
direct pay. So the jail would receive an invoice at the end of the month and say, okay, you had 20 hours.
And does that FTO also get paid his Waldo County salary?
Yes. And he's only paid his Waldo County salary. He doesn't receive any of the $75
to Waldo County.
That goes.
Well, that's what I was asking, whether this is like to Waldo County or direct pay to the field.
Not direct pay. None of this is direct pay to the individual.
Got it.
Sir?
Okay.
And Commissioner Skilling said the question.
Yes, go ahead.
I would like to see a change here of no later than December 31st of 2026. 20 months, and this is already a discussion that's already been had. If we don't have someone in our office that's capable of leading this program within the next 7 months, we have much larger issues. This needs to be done sooner rather than later, in my opinion. Leaving this open until 2027, I don't care about the 300 hours. That's fine. It takes 300 hours, it takes 300 hours. But it needs to be done by December 31st of 2026. We need to have our infrastructure in place to lead our jail with our people within the next 7 months.
I agree.
Okay. And I think it's an excellent suggestion.
Yes.
So. Anything further on that? We go down to payments. 3.1 monthly billing. Article 4 audit of records. It says here upon notice to the sheriff. Which sheriff? Or both sheriffs?
So this is existing language from previous contracts. I just kind of left it in there. We could clarify it if you need.
Yeah.
I think it needs some clarification as to what sheriff or sheriffs, be it Waldo or Somerset, or both. And then under the indemnity, Article 5, there was nothing there that jumped out at me, except we want to change that to December 31st under Article 6, the term to 2026 again.
Well, the entire term is through 2027.
Yes, I would support not staying in his position until 2027, but the training aspect, the policy writing aspect as well.
Got it.
That needs to be done in the next 7 months. That we need for as long as we can keep them.
Okay. And then in Article 7, there's a yellow highlighting.
This was something that Waldo wanted to add in. And again, it's very clunky, but we just worked through this. So there's basically a notice of termination clause here, which is standard in the other contracts that we have, including the one for inmate boarding. They essentially wanted something in there that would allow them notice if Matt decided to leave employment with Waldo and come to employment with us.
Okay.
So I need to make it a little bit more specific to jail. Because the way I read it this morning, it's like, wow, that would be like if any Waldo employee wanted to come work for Somerset, then that would terminate the contract. That's okay.
We may need a name in that one.
Right. Or at least a position. Right. But one of the things they asked for when I met with Commissioner Kelly was some sort of notice if there was going to be a change. 120 days is a long day. That's what Commissioner Kelly asked for, so I'll go back.
Let's just go to 60 and see what happens. Okay.
Try to get you 61.
All right, I'll take it.
Okay.
Got to win somewhere.
I'll throw in 4 bets.
Okay. Under Article 5, extension, there's a semicolon and a comma after above on the first line.
Well, you can never have too much punctuation. So.
And then Article 9, arbitration. Does anybody have any questions? I just think that the well, it's a little awkward. Let me finish my thought. On the second, under Article 9 arbitration, on the second paragraph, the representative appointment and third-party members selected previously. This is a little awkward. It should probably need to be spelled out more, clarified as to who is who and what is what. And then the other thing is, I was going to say this arbitration association that would be split evenly, but I noticed at the end it says all costs would be split 50-50. So I'm good there.
I thought,
No.
my question was, are you trying to say that one of the representatives are county commissioners, or just we can just pick anyone?
To be a representative appointed by.
It wouldn't be one of us.
It could.
It could be us, or it could be somebody else.
Right.
Or Commissioner that is a lawyer.
I'm not a lawyer.
Commissioner who was a lawyer.
Former Jews.
Okay, so you good with that?
Yeah.
All right. And then there's the back page. And this is binding arbitration. The decision of the arbitrator shall be final and conclusive between both parties. So are you okay with binding arbitration?
It already exists in several of our contracts.
It seems to me that a lot of the disputes that are going to be resolved through personal relationships between the principals. I don't see us going to arbitration on this a lot. I mean, it's a contract of short duration. We pretty much understand what it means. If it works, it works. And if it isn't working, I think it's going to be pretty obvious pretty soon. We have a 90-day termination escape clause. So I'm not too concerned about arbitration because we're not going to win.
Can we, I throw a wrench in something real quick? For a second. Looking at the number side of it, I'm okay with the premise of it all, but if we're going to use Matt and or the policy situation until December of this year, can we figure out what that hourly rate is on the 6,500 and get a reduction after December 31st? And I know that Matt said that there's some administrative costs in that number, et cetera, et cetera. He wasn't excited about it. I understand I might lose, but can we at least have that?
I don't think you will.
I can ask.
You hear what I'm saying? I'll trust that you guys can figure out that cost of what 8 hours would be, and because after the 31st, hopefully we don't need it. Oh, December.
Well, the other thing about this contract is we're not having a meeting. We have to concern ourselves with employee type issues.
Correct. He's a consultant.
It's a contract with a county.
You are correct. It is a collaboration with all of counties. We have a jail administrator who's extremely capable, qualified, and we're looking at, is this a model that will be helpful to Somerset County and also benefits Waldo County?
And in terms of dollars and cents, if we take out all the money that we're paying in this contract, compare it to the salary of our last jail administrator.
With benefits.
With benefits.
Very good.
It's a cost saving.
And I don't know that we could find, maybe I should have someone. I don't think we can find a more qualified person to operate a county jail. Maybe there's someone in the state. He's pretty on the top end.
Okay. Okay. And this is not going to, is the name going to be in the contract?
I think we put the position in the contract, but I don't think.
But if, this is not going to happen. But if Waldo County said, okay, here he is, and it's somebody other than
That's true. That is a very good question. And the other names I think should be excluded from the contract. But I think to your point, to specifically name, so we limit our to not to say that it happened. I'm not even suggesting that it happened, but it closes any door that it might.
It's perfect. I think I have what I need.
Great. Thank you.
Before I leave my administrative report, just back to the matching grants, and I appreciate the effort that everybody put in to hear from all those folks. Are you at a point where you need more information? Are you concerned that Mr. Stekis was not here to hear any of this? I guess what I'm looking for is direction. Do you want resolutions on each of these at the next meeting?
Yes.
You did? Okay, so you'll be ready to vote on each one. Okay. That's what I'll do.
2 weeks, plenty of time.
Okay.
Plenty of time to drill down deeper into that.
Fair enough. We have no new reports.
Patrick said to say everything was good.
Patrick says everything's good. Dave said the UT is still there.
And Tammy said everything was good.
Live there, that information.
Did you want to go through anything else on your agenda of this? Talk to us about anything?
No, I'm good. Sheriff has a report that he wants to.
You good? You have nothing to report? Nothing today?
They're busy, not doing.
Arresting people.
Very good. Thank you. Well, with that, I will continue with Resolution 2671 to approve paying the following spring 2025 matching grant awards from community benefit funds. The Forks Chamber of Commerce, $7,678 for a tourism media campaign.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? To go. Resolution 2672 to approve the following request to extend the matching grant award deadline to the Madison Public Library for ramp reconstruction and hospice volunteers of Somerset County volunteer training programs.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes.
Go.
Is there an end here? I mean, I get Madison's underway. That one's going.
I apologize. I should mention this. The extension form that they filled out and submitted back in the 90-day extension. So your motion will reflect that you're extending the deadline to September 30th.
Okay. Good. Thank you. So, ready to vote? All in favor? Okay. Thank you. Resolution 2673 to approve the posting of a staff sergeant position at the Somerset County Jail.
Hello.
Do I have a second?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Skillings has seconded. Discussion? All in favor? Let's go. Resolution 2674 to accept the resignation of Detective Sergeant Ronnie Blodgett.
And I would ask this be put into an executive session. I think we need to have a deeper discussion, and I don't think having that discussion in public is applicable. So, pursuant to Title I, Section 405, 6A, Personnel, I would like to move into executive session.
Do you mind if we wait until the
I do not mind.
get through everything
We'll
else?
skip. I don't want to accept this yet. I just want to.
No, we can just move it to that.
Yes,
Then
yes.
come out. Then we'll come out and
Yes.
we'll just try to be efficient with people's time so we're here.
Yes.
That person has been done.
Okay. It should, okay. Thank you.
I made sure that they were notified. Number one, organized territory warrants, Resolution 2675 to approve the treasurer's warrant for general fund, Somerset County Jail, unorganized territories, and TIP community benefit for a full amount of $180,578.50.
Second.
Discussion?
Seems like a very economical 2 weeks. Not a big number.
I'm just in favor.
Patrick, put
Okay.
the hammer down.
Yeah, okay. I'm in favor.
All in favor? Okay, we're good. Thank you. Miscellaneous discussion items, commissioners only.
No, sir. No.
Well, I'm just going to say that this Saturday is International Fish Migration Day. And under that consideration, Fairfield engineered a ladder that does not disturb their ice block dam, does not lower the head, but it allows for fishes to go up and over. And I'm hoping that that type of engineering blueprint can be used for the Shawmut Dam. So I think that there's something to be said about engineering solutions. Okay. So happy Fish Migration Day. And anybody else? Nothing? Okay. Now, we are going to go into executive session, Title 1, Section 4056A, Personnel Jail.
Well, for the record, we're going to move that to personnel SO.
Oh, Personnel SO. All right.
I hope that Jake puts the national fish migration in.